Nothing I like more on a Sunday than some old guy spewing F-bombs.
This guy should not be president, period.
And when you say that, folks on Fox come after you. I remember the Tonys when you got up there and cursed. A lot of you. Okay, well, you know, this is cable, so it's not an FCC violation, but it is still a Sunday morning.
That was Bobby De Niro promoting his new movie, Grumpy Old Man 7, More Strained Peas. Actually, he was triggered by our nation's hall monitor, Brian Stelter, asking him about Fox News for some reason. The host acts dumb, not a stretch, as if he didn't see this coming from a guy who talks like a one-man Navy.
This idiot is the president. The guy is a fool. Our government today, with the prompting of our baby-in-chief, has in chief, I call him.
That's some reliable source you got there. This is what moms call bad language, or what producers call great TV. The plan, get an irrational figure at peak derangement and goad him into snapping. It's like cabaret for the chronically obsessed. It's like when you were a kid and would pull wheelies on Old Man Johnson's front yard. Finally, he just cracks. He's holding a spatula, chasing you around in his open robe. That's the De Niro CNN business model in a nutshell. Money for nothing and clicks for free. Of course, the real story is how accusations of Trump's nutty behavior always ends up with the accusers acting nuttier. De Niro calls Trump crazy as he goes crazier. Adam Schiff calls Trump a liar as he makes up quotes. Dems talk about undermining institutions as they try to undermine an election. But when asked for reasons why Trump shouldn't be president, all Bobby had were sputtering F-bombs. His resistance had run out of script. It was just another role without dialogue, so he had to improvise. But I handed to CNN. It got me to watch, and by having it on the 5, it quadrupled their audience. Congrats to Stelter and CNN for that 1 minute. You had a hit. So, Dana, shall I quote Scott Adams?
Oh, yeah, I was thirsty.
Okay.
Drink.
He claims that because we've entered a new phase where not liking Trump is just a lifestyle. So you're a lifestyle resistor because when you...
You don't even have to have a reason.
Yeah, so when he kept saying, why, he's just going, F him, F him.
It's like when you run out of words and you can't explain anything anymore, and it's just because they think you're too dumb to understand. Like, if you have to ask the question, then clearly you're just not smart enough to understand why he shouldn't be president.
Yeah.
Like, that's, like, in his mind. The weird thing about the F-bomb stuff is that he's clearly doing it on purpose. I mean, he has enough self-control, I would imagine, to not drop F-bombs, but they're doing it for effect, as if it works. So who else did that recently? Beto O'Rourke.
Yes.
Remember, he's out there, he's dropping the F-bomb everywhere to the point that ABC had to say, by the way, not going to be allowed on our debate stage, not going to allow that. And they're like, well, we just might do it anyway.
Yeah.
Also, I just wonder about Robert De Niro, because it does seem like he's either playing himself or a character, or it could be just the same thing now.
Now, it is the same. This is a role. The resistor is the role now, and he's comfortable in the role.
Starring in the role.
He's starring in the role. Though, I will say this, Donna, I am pro-swearing. I don't know why we have to be so worried about those words. And maybe it's because I don't have kids, but I find swearing to be a valuable thing.
You know, I spent most of my childhood, and I would say almost half of my adulthood, going to church on Sunday, confessing to using swear words. So I try to avoid them, although I've been known to make complete sentences out of swear words, but not on this show. This potty mouth stuff, I don't think it's good TV, Emily. I think it's rude, it's offensive, and that's why we have to, I said this weekend, don't take the bait. When the president was tweeting out things, calling Democrats savages, I said, don't take the bait, be best. I always use the First Lady, you know, hashtag be best. We all try to be at our best when we're dealing with these topics.
Could potty mouth be a medical condition?
Tourette's. Tourette's. Yeah, that's when you can't control the
Yeah, but
Just in case you
what
didn't
do I
know.
have? Yeah, I think there's something to be said, of course. Swearing feels really good and it kind of blows off steam, but that's usually privately, and there's obviously the stronger argument for in the national conversation and public discourse. We want you to be able to use your words and have that specificity and rise above it, especially for those running for office and whatnot. I personally appreciated that Bobby D doubled down, and instead of apologizing, that like literally his response to Brian saying, so, you know, for you, like kind of unleashing that tirade, that was his response to that. He doubled down. That being said, he's a larger-than-life celebrity. Nothing will ever touch Bobby D.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think he might be
Yes,
touched
you guys.
now, Jesse.
So Jesse, was he promoting this movie? What is
Yeah,
that, The Irishman?
The Irishman. And
Yeah.
I think everybody should see it because they shot a big scene on my old street in the West Village. That's why I'm going to see it. It looks amazing. It has Joe Pesci in it. It has pretty much any great actor in any of those gangster movies that's going to be in it. And I disagree with all of you. You guys are being way too sensitive. He's old. He doesn't care. He's rich. Trump drives him crazy.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's about lacking self-control. I don't think he even wants to control himself.
No.
I think he's letting it hang all out
That's
there.
true.
Who cares? He'll say
Okay.
whatever he wants to say.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it's
Like
not
someone
the
else
classiest
we
thing.
know.
No, I think, I don't think, my thing is I could care less about the swearing. What I find interesting is that he couldn't come up with a reason. And so it's like, and that's where you run into a lot of people like this, that when you're talking to them and you go, okay, just tell me, and they go, ah, and then they run away.
Well, the question was, what do you have to say if people that watch Fox News criticize you? And he goes, I don't care who criticizes me.
Yeah.
That's all that is.
I admire that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm kind of sensitive.
You are very sensitive.
But I support the office of the presidency, regardless of who the occupant. And I think, to have someone, use that word in conjunction with the office of the presidency, I have a decency standard. I mean, I may dislike the fact that you're holding a position.
Well, he wasn't saying that about the president. That was a couple weeks before, which I don't think is good. I think he was just saying the critics.
I have an indecency standard.
Baby, I need to go to confession with you. You got too much for me to deal with today.
It's
Greg.
not pretty. Oh, dear. It takes hours, by the way.
Oh.
You have to lay down a tarp.
Okay.